Cloud Atlas is an exploration of how the actions of individual lives impact one another in the past, present, and future.
Yesterday, my life was headed in one direction. Today, it is headed in another. You ever think the universe was against you? Fear, belief, love, phenomena that determine the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
I was not specifically looking forward to seeing Cloud Atlas, primarily because it looked like it was going to be too much for me. I am not usually able to get into a movie that you need to watch, 5 more times to fully understand, because it's like if I don't get it the first time, I might not be interested enough to watch it again, you know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of people that are really into movies like this that you need to watch many, many times, and I'm not saying I haven't done that in the past, but it's a little more difficult to grab me if I don't understand what's going on the first time I watch the movie, if I'm not even connected to it. But I was intrigued because aside from the fact that it's from the creators of The Matrix, I thought it was cool that all the different actors were playing multiple characters in the past, the present, the future. It looked cool in that respect. It just looked like it might be too much. Also, the fact that the movie is a little under 3 hours long worried me because if I didn't like it, that's a long time to sit through a movie you're not into, so I was a little nervous going into the movie. And before I say whether I liked it or not, I do have to say, regardless, it's an extremely impressive feat, I think, to have put this movie together. I was very, very impressed because it's just a huge scope of a movie, and I appreciate the dedication and the effort that was put into it, for sure, no matter what. That being said, I did enjoy Cloud Atlas. I didn't think it was the best movie of all time, but I did enjoy it, and I actually think it's the type of movie that I enjoy more after it's over than while I watched it, because it is a little daunting to sit through. It's a long movie, and it does take a while to sort of get chugging along, where most movies would be kind of in the final stretch of the story. This movie is just kind of getting into its stride, which is weird, but once it does, I would say it goes much quicker than I expected, and overall, I definitely did enjoy myself. So let's get a little more in-depth with Cloud Atlas, starting off with the plot and the writing, which, first of all, I know this is based on a book. I've not read the book, so I can't compare in that sense. This is all completely new and fresh to me. But I thought the overall idea of the movie was interesting and something that I was able to follow. Like I said, if you really want to digest this movie, you could watch it, I'm sure, a bunch of times and get different things here and there. But I was able to appreciate and understand it enough on my first watch, and like I said, maybe more so after I was able to think about it when it was over, but I definitely got into it and I definitely understood where it was going, what was going on. After a while, like I said, it takes a little while to fully make sense because there's a good portion of the movie at the start when nothing is connecting really, but once it does, I got it. A tough thing is if you don't like one story, or if you only like one story, for example, because this movie is like a bunch of different stories twisting in and out of each other, and imagine if you only liked one story, you've got to sit through all the other ones to follow the one story you're enjoying. But luckily, for the most part, I enjoyed all the stories, maybe, some more than others, but I thought all of them were interesting enough that when it cut back to the story, I wasn't at any point like, oh, great, this one again. I was interested to see what was going to happen next. As far as the directing goes, like I said, very, very impressive to be able to put a movie like this together, in my opinion, because, like I said, I got it. Like, I was able to watch it and understand what was going on. Almost 3 hours, past, present, future, this planet, other planets, who the hell knows where we are. It was insane. And so good for them right off the bat for being able to do that. I think that is fantastic, and it's a lot of hard work I really appreciate. That being said, I was hoping for, just because it's the creators of The Matrix, some more interesting visual elements. And not to say that it didn't look great. I thought everything looked really good, especially the makeup and stuff. I'll get into that in a moment. But there was one specific shot. Actually, there were 2 shots, I just forget because it was in the trailer, but 2 shots that I thought were excellent and what I was hoping for more of, and that's the shot with the car going off the bridge, and also a shot where someone gets a tooth punched out of their face and the camera follows the tooth. I thought that was awesome. I was hoping for more stuff like that, but unfortunately there wasn't as much. You know what? They had a lot more to worry about, so I guess I'll give them a pass on that. This movie overall has somewhat of a self-important feeling to it, but surprisingly it's not overbearing as you might expect, because the self-importance kind of feels like it's limited to the movie. And once you leave the theater, it doesn't feel like the movie was trying to act like it was important in the real world. It just felt like it was important to itself, which of course is the concept of self-importance. But you'd think that would be something negative, but I actually thought that it worked fine because it made me feel like everything that was happening in the movie was really important. And it kind of kept me like, okay, what's this going to mean? What's going to happen next? And so I thought that was really interesting how they handled that. It definitely worked. And it's very risky because it might not have, and it did. Like I said, I thought the makeup was very well done, and some of it looked kind of silly sometimes, but the movie did have a bit of a silly vibe to it. As sort of self-important as it was, it did kind of feel silly. But I did think that it was a little distracting once in a while. And this is my own fault, I guess, because I was trying to see, like, which actor is that? Is that Sturgis? It is Sturgis. And I was actually, like, putting my hand up to, like, cover the top of a face to see the mouth and be like, yeah, that's definitely Jim Sturgis or whoever it is. And so, you know, that's just me. I was kind of looking a little too into it, I guess. But I did think that it was fun to see all the actors in different roles and different makeup and different settings, and so I thought that was interesting. And as far as acting goes, I thought everybody did a very good job. I don't want to get into specifics because there's too many people to get into. It would take me forever, but everybody overall I thought did a great job. But I do have to say, I think Ben Whishaw's character when he was writing music might have been my favorite character in the movie, and I think that might have been my favorite storyline as well, just the whole thing, which is a big storyline. It's, you know, from the start to the finish. And I do also have to say, I couldn't always keep track of Hugh Grant. I think he might have been the most difficult to catch who he was playing in each scene, because I read it on IMDb that he played a lot more than I thought I remembered, if I remember correctly. So I might have to watch it again, actually. Maybe I would watch it again just to catch who everybody is, because I definitely missed people along the way, because some of them had smaller parts and bigger parts, so I definitely thought that was cool, but like I said, maybe a little bit distracting once in a while, because I should have been focusing on what was going on with the story, and I was kind of focusing on, like, who is that right there? That's somebody. But hey, good job with the makeup, because sometimes I could not tell. And as I said, this is the type of movie you could watch a bunch of times and really digest a lot more. Forgive me, I'm kind of looking at it, I think, at a little below surface value. I'm not getting super in-depth with it or anything like that. Maybe I would watch it again, like I said, primarily just to see all the actors and the different characters again and maybe catch things I missed. But for the most part, I got it. I can appreciate it. I think it's very interesting how everything all tied together and, how one thing would affect another thing in a different time, in a different world, whatever it was. And I also appreciated how, visuals connected and stuff like that, where, someone was running across a bridge, and then it cuts to someone running across the mast on the ship, stuff like that. Very cool, very well put together, good for them, because it definitely is a lot of hard work, and I can tell, and I can appreciate it. But let me know in the comments what you thought of Cloud Atlas. I'm definitely curious, because I think that this could kind of go both ways. People are going to love it or hate it, or I guess people could kind of be in between, like me. I definitely am above average on it. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of all the different cast characters and stuff like that. Let me know if there's anybody you missed that you might have to go watch it again to pick out. Let me know what you thought of the story. Which was your favorite storyline, I guess? Let me know anything that you want about Cloud Atlas, and that's pretty much it.
I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world, and I'll be waiting for you there.